it's not going to be the Kestrel. I was getting really excited at the prospect of Baron Kestrel, because that is just instant deletion no matter what you do. So a little sad we're not going to get to see that, but this will be a chance for Hyde to show that he has a deeper hero pool than just the 3 we had mentioned earlier.
An opportunity to really strut his stuff, and you know, this is their first chance on this big stage to really show off. So taking that opportunity, and there is going to be the Taka locked in alongside that Arden. Very aggressive composition coming out here for ECHOFOX.
Yeah, and then Lyra will most likely be picked here. I don't think they'll do Adagio, or maybe they may do Captain Baptiste, but I think Lyra makes the most sense because if Taka bursts the Baron, Lyra can give them the Sigil heal and counter it a little bit.
Yep. So Lyra will be the final lock-in. Weatherman Suije, as always, getting his forecast on point. But now looking at the compositions as a whole, how do we feel this draft has panned out? Start with you, Bacon.
I actually really like what TEMPOSTORM has, just because I love Lyra against Taka. As soon as he jumps in, you just throw down that Bright Bulwark and cancel out his anything else he was going to be trying to do. And you have so much burst with the Baron and the Koshka that as long as you're moving as a unit, as long as no one gets caught out on their own, you can just blow up your targets so quickly.
And Suije?
Yeah, I agree with Bacon here. Lyra's actually good into Arden as well, because if Taka jumps in and the board comes up, Arden can't Vanguard Taka. So I think TEMPOSTORM has a better draft, especially when they get to mid to late game. They're going to that Baron's going to carry really hard.
All right, so we have a TEMPOSTORM colored desk alongside with the background and everything TEMPOSTORM colored right now. But don't forget, you guys at home can let us know if you're TEMPOSTORM colored using that hashtag Vainglory8, or whether you're going to be going for ECHOFOX in this one. Get online, get on the social media. But with that, we're going to be passing over to our casters as we head into the final series of the day.
Thank you very much, Munch. And that it is the last series of the day, TEMPOSTORM versus ECHOFOX. Can the Foxes outfox the Storm? Comes from these two drafts, and outfox Selena. I mean, realistically, we're looking at this Baron being picked up once again. And I'm absolutely surprised that they let it through, in all honesty, AJ.
I am surprised, but that being said, I do think that the Taka, with the right kind of momentum heading into the medium parts of the game and the later parts of the game, can be an effective force against it. The big problem for him is going to be the fact that there's a Lyra here with a Bright Bulwark to stop him. Also Hyde, if he wants to, could just use his ultimate on Yasuo, right? Like, that's not the worst use of it. It does allow for your Baron to just sit there and basic attack Taka as soon as he jumps into the fray. So there's a lot of options here for TEMPOSTORM to deal with the pressure that sort of comes from Fox's lineup. It's really going to be about ECHOFOX, I think, getting ahead in the early/mid game if they can find that window. Hard to do against a Koshka though, Joss.
Yeah, that it is. I mean, we always speak about it, Koshka being that early game powerhouse of a jungler. Already putting a lot of pressure down on ECHOFOX right now. I'm just going to contest this Elder Treant, but 70 gold isn't worth a death. So both teams deciding just to back off. Don't want to start any early shenanigans thus far, or just yet, I should say. Nerwin is up in the lane, just making sure Selena is having the hardest time possible in order to farm. And now Hyde is trying to look for some cheeky little invade, but won't really find it all too much here. And you got to say, I mean, TEMPOSTORM's composition, a very 1-2 punch. You've got Koshka for that early game aggression. You've got Baron for that late game monstrosity that he can become. And then Lost Boy Toff to kind of back it all up and round it all out.
You got to remember as well that Lyra combined with Koshka is part of what makes this early game from Tempo have its real strength, right? Like, Lyra is very, very good early on. You can see actually TEMPOSTORM thinking about going for this Elder Treant. If they get this for free, which it looks an awful lot like they might, they're going to be sitting quite good here in the early game.
Yeah, quite comfortable. There was Selena rotating down as well. Fox might be in a little bit of a problem if they step forward onto that brush. They do decide against it. Slayer does get pounced on. That'll be TEMPOSTORM rotating back up towards the lane here. And let's look at TEMPOSTORM's lineup here. We've got Lost Boy Toff, Selena, and we've got Hyde. And it's really interesting because there's a fight already breaking out. Lost Boy Toff, in fact, is a little bit too far forward. Sigil for the heal, not quite enough. That Bright Bulwark isn't going to save him. Yazuru is going to be able to pick up that first kill of the game.
You really do have to be cautious here, because the thing is, yes, TEMPOSTORM probably has the slightly better early game comp, although Yazuru,
yeah, a little bit of a tough spot. Hyde is going to be able to just dash away as he does see Slayer come down from the lane.
Yeah, so as I was saying before, though, I mean, you have to be very careful. Even though you have an early game duo in the jungle that's very strong, that does not mean that in a 2 versus 3 you're going to be okay in the lane. Speaking of the lane, Irwin.
Irwin, he's got another pounce under his belt. Hyde is going to pick up a kill, jumps straight underneath that turret and just backs off without a worry in the world. Overextension there from Irwin, but that's going to be picked up there from Hyde, evening the scoreboard at 1-1.
It's pretty questionable that, you know, on the side of ECHOFOX, they decided not to keep Slata in the lane. Against the Lyra and the Koshka, you know that that's probably where a lot of the pressure is going to be effective. It might not be where a lot of the pressure is overall, because, you know, it's perfectly reasonable for Hyde to skirmish with Yuzuru in the jungle. But where it's going to be effective is different than where it's going to be most frequently, right? Because Yuzuru, if he gets jumped on, well, maybe he kites some of the damage to avoid it, maybe he uses Kaku and just backs up to a bush and jumps away Hyde. There are things that he can do, right? Whereas if you look towards the lane, Irwin, if Hyde is on top of him and has that speed up, and then Lyra gives him another speed up on top of that, and Selena's landed a couple of basics, that's probably a pretty dead Vox. Early on in the game, when your boots are on cooldown, you don't have your silence. So Slata needs to be backing up his carry. Yuzuru should be able to fend for himself, in mostly, right? Like, Hyde hasn't even bought items yet. Could be bad for him here.
Really could be. He's being chased out here. Slater and Yuzuru will be able to find him. Crystal Sentry is going to be there for the defense. Can Hyde get away? He cannot. Lost Boy Torf a little bit late on the rotation there. Won't be able to find him. That Crystal Sentry did take a beating out of him. But up in the lane, actually, a solo kill happens as Irwin manages to take Selena and says goodbye. See you later. Back to your base, mate.
I'm Baron. I'm going to 1v1 you when I'm
Lost
really
Boy
low
Torf.
level.
Hang on a second, AJ. Hang on a second. That's a delayed ace. But ECHOFOX come through. They finally get another kill. Lost Boy. He's going to find himself a little lost, ends up going back to the base as well. TEMPOSTORM really just put on the back foot here as Fox. They've got their claws and they're sinking them in deep.
There's a few fundamentally strange things that TEMPOSTORM are doing right now. The first is that Hyde did not shop for so long. When you have the edge that you did early on where you pick up that kill, you want to shop so that you can leverage that. Like, that additional gold that you get doesn't mean anything whilst it's in gold form, you know? You got to invest your money, not decide it under your bed. So that was not a good spot for him to be in. He was never going to be able to deal with Yuzuru at that point, who'd actually shopped a little bit. And on top of that, Selena was like, all right, I just power spiked off of the Star Blade, I'm going to try and fight Irwin. Well, Irwin had a poison chip. So not only does he sustain more, it's just a better item on a Vox, especially when it comes to the early power spike, that, you know, that fight is never really going to go Selena's way. So again, two really bold decisions by ECHOFOX that were just a little over-aggressive for my taste, and they were punished for it. Now there's a 2,000 gold lead on ECHOFOX, only 5-6 minutes into the game.
How to make your lead stick. You have to buy the items after you get those kills. That's exactly what Hyde didn't do. And now Fox, they are going to be able to just make sure that that wave doesn't pressure their turret all too much. There's going to be an X-Retsu on top of Selena. Selena's going to get healed up though by Lost Boy Torf, so it's not going to be too much of an issue. They're just going to back off, and now Fox definitely with the advantage in terms of gold. They're 2,000 in the bank for them. Hyde is going to be on this sidelines. Does have the yummy catnip frenzy. Selena doesn't have ion cannon here. Lost Boy Torf doesn't have his ultimate either. There's a lot of damage coming out from Selena, but the problem is there's a lot of sustain there for Fox as well.
Yeah, Irwin was very close. He was dancing with death there, to be honest. Thankfully for him, Slata gave him the Vanguard very quickly in order to allow Irwin to back out of range from Hyde's Yummy Cat and Frenzy. But, you know, we do need to see real care given to TEMPOSTORM's lineup, because now that the Hyde, you know, the Koshka has hit 6, anyone on the side of ECHOFOX needs to be wary of just getting ultimated and dying immediately.
It is. Well, Goldmine is actually going to get started up here. Yuzuru wants just to solo that one out, but he will be spotted by Hyde. Hyde's actually completed his aftershock now, so big power spike for him. A lot of damage in his pocket right now. Now ECHOFOX, what are they going to do with this advantage? What are they going to do with this lead? That's the question. Yummy Candy Frenzy used. It's going to get blocked. Selena's going to dive forward. That's a lot of damage. Wait for it's going to come out as well from Irwin. Make sure TEMPOSTORM can't go on the aggression again. A lot of damage there. It's a big ultimate now burnt for Hyde there.
That was a really nice reflex block from Irwin, though. I mean, Hyde going for that play isn't a bad thing, right? Like, you do need to put pressure on. It was a nice attempt, but he's got to be careful here. See, Irwin does an easy job of rotating in.
Yuzuru's got to careful as well, but beautiful Gauntlet is going to be able to stun up Selena. Selena in a lot of trouble, is going to find his own death That will be Owen picking up that kill. They're going to chase Lost Boy Toff now. Sonic zooming forward, doing a fair bit of damage. Hyde's going to be here on that Koshka. He's going to be able to clear that wave out nice and safely, so ECHOFOX can't go for that turret dive. A nice, beautiful pick off there from the Foxes. And you got to say, they're playing this game very, very well. And very, very programmatic. Or not programmatic. Very
collected.
something along those lines. Yes. Very slow, methodical. Methodical is the word I was looking for.
There you go. We got there. All right. So I think that one thing that's really impressing me this game is Erwin. Actually, his Vox has been quite impressive. He got that 1-versus-1 against Selena earlier. His reflex blocks have been like the last possible second. The thing is, if you can, like, imagine you 100% are going to hit your reflex block. There's no chance you're going to do it too late. Would you rather do it earlier than later in that instance? Well, you'd rather do it at the last possible second because it baits the enemy team into committing more. And you saw, like, for example, in that fight earlier where Hyde tried to do a gank, Erwin's reflex block came in basically like as he was on top of him. It was the very last second. As a result, you know, TEMPOSTORM had invested in that fight. They'd all moved up. They'd all tried to make something happen. That allowed Yasru to get positioned far into the jungle, and eventually they turned that into a kill. It's small things that eventually add up to much bigger ones.
And Mechanic Frenzy is going to get used again. It's going to get blocked once more, and that wait for it's going to be massive. Lost Boy Tough can't heal anybody up. There's going to be a jump away from Selena as well. Yazaru is going to have to back off to jump straight away, otherwise he was going to get popped as well. But Selena trading up a lot of that damage, but once more, massive reset for reflex block there from Owen.
Yeah, very, very nice. Erwin's doing a great job of just making sure he's always aware that Hyde could be trying to set up an engagement. I also like Yasru having the presence of mind to maybe say, all right, this is around the time we'd expect Hyde's cooldown to be back up. So there's probably going to be in play in the lane. I'm going to go sit up here, right? Like, that's what sort of gave him the idea to be just waiting in the wings rather than proactive elsewhere on the map. And it was smart, because if he hadn't have been there, maybe, even with the reflex block, TEMPOSTORM would have been able to keep the pressure on now that Lyra has the ultimate. So yeah, I really like that. Fox is playing great as a team, and they're also playing great individually right now.
They are. That they are. We'll have to see if their teamwork can stretch on now. They've not really pushed their gold lead all too much. It's been about 600 extra for Fox. Will they be able to echo that in game number 2? That is the question, but we are in game number 1 now. I want to see how their drafts do change, because both these teams, you know, looking at all of the names across the board, a lot of new players, or a lot of players that haven't been high up TSM Cloud9 level. The engagement does happen though, Gauntlet does come out. Silence on 3 people. Yazaru actually gets jumped on once more, but finally finds his death. Selena picks him off with a kill, and now Fox are on the run. Hyde in a 1v1 situation. Selena's going to join him. Erwin as well with... just gets absolutely deleted. Selena with a double shot on the rockets takes him off the fold. That'll be Lost Boy Toff as well, jumping forward onto Slater. He's going to use that passageway, but that will be TEMPOSTORM now, taking that first turret of the game.
That was an interesting series of events there. Honestly, Yasuru overcommitted a little bit right at the start of the fight. Sometimes in these fights, when you've got Erwin behind you who is so strong, you do not want to burn numerous cooldowns straight away. You kind of want to stagger them on Taka so that you disrupt the abilities that are being laid down, right? Like, it makes it difficult for the enemies to just immediately use everything and guarantee they're going to hit you. Because Yasru died so quickly, Erwin, even though he made a really solid effort at coming back into that fight, just wasn't quite able to do it. As a result, you know, the gold's evening up a little bit, but Fox, you know, notably, they're still ahead in gold, and I would say they're still ahead in their ability to team fight. It's just about whether or not Yasru dies too quickly to remain a distraction for Erwin in the fight for longer.
Just the distraction technique while the backline DPS does his work. That's their game plan right now, but a lot of infusions being picked up across the board. I just picked up himself one. Yasuru had one from earlier, and Erwin's is about to run out in a second as well. Like we always see, early prioritization, especially from the NA teams, on those infusions, wanting to fight consistently. There's going to be a small engage here. Nice little snare up from the Bright Bulwark coming out from Lost Boy. We'll dissuade Fox from now on. Well, for the moment at least. Although Slater, you know, does have that gauntlet up in a couple of seconds. So that is a definitely go trigger for them.
It is indeed. I like the fact that ECHOFOX is playing smartly around enemy cooldowns right now. They saw Baron jump jets when he was thinking about going for a fight. And that allowed ECHOFOX to be a little bit aggressive for like 5 seconds or so, and then they just backed away. They didn't overstay their welcome, but right now they did get out-rotated. They need to make a fight work here for them, or that turret was wasted.
Yeah, that turret is going to go down. The gauntlet is going to match them as well. Selena, they're all trapped in the middle of this one. They need to make something work here, but no. Owen with the resonating bounces is just going to destroy TEMPOSTORM. Fox are just running through them. Yummy Candy Frenzy blocked once more. Fox come up with an ace. That turret was not wasted whatsoever. They find themselves 3 kills. That gold mine is full as well, and that turret is going to be on the menu.
All right, so that ended up working out quite nicely for Fox. They're going to probably get more gold in total. The only real negative is that they lost a second-tier turret versus a first-tier turret. That is different for a lot of reasons. Obviously, the biggest one being the vision it provides on the map and your ability to use it as kind of a home field advantage, a bit closer to things like Kraken. But yeah, I like the fact that ECHOFOX kept their cool. They played that fight smartly. I do think that TEMPOSTORM were smart to try and abuse that rotation error from ECHOFOX, but maybe the right decision there could have been to just collapse onto Fox as they tried to move back towards the turret rather than committing for it. They certainly did lose a little bit DPS as they finished that one off. So it's interesting. These small decisions can really make a big difference here. As it currently stands, though, the team's trading back and forth.
All decisions can lead to big advantages or big disadvantages. Either way, and TEMPOSTORM right now, their macro didn't seem to be quite on point, like you said, out-rotating ECHOFOX, but Fox's micro and their actual team fights are a little bit more on point. Slater specifically, 7 assists right now out of the 8 kills involved in almost, well, 80% of them, I'd say, or 90, I'm not entirely sure on that math. I'll get a calculator later, I'll work it out. But I mean, coming through with massive gauntlets time and time again just leaves Erwin and Yazuru just to lay down so much free damage. And on the Vox, that's exactly what you want to do.
Absolutely is. You can see stealth up here by Yazuru, thinking about maybe going for an aggressive play. We haven't seen a lot of those pan out for Fox. You know, most of the time it's been quite defensive. See, if you go for an aggressive play and then you sort of falter and you can't fully commit, that's when Selena really punishes you. We talked about this earlier on with Baron. It can be a very rough position. Yazuru does find that camp, though, so that heal will help him out a little bit in any oncoming fights.
Oh, Gauntlet actually is going to get laid down. Lost Boy Top in a little bit of a sticky situation. That's going to be a triple silence coming out from Erwin. And now TEMPOSTORM are just running for the hills as Fox just cut them down. There will be Yummy Candy Frenzy on top of Erwin, but it's not going to matter. He finds himself a 2-piece. He finds Fox an ace. That will be once more them just capitalizing on that fight. My goodness, Yazuru gave up his own life, but will mean an ace and a turret for Fox.
Yazuru's got to be tilted, man. He was on top of that scout trap. Why was there a scout trap there is what he's asking, because that was not a very typical position for it. But regardless, ECHOFOX coming out with a solid fight. They staggered their crowd control onto Lost Boy Top pretty much perfectly. There was no arcane passage in that fight because any point past the original onslaught would have been not really worth it, and he was silenced and stunned during that entire period of the fight. So really very nice stuff out of ECHOFOX. Solid engagement. They're definitely showing the ability to just commit to a fight when it makes sense. Alright, so you can see now ECHOFOX is backing away. Kraken has spawned. They're going to be able to play around this now and maybe use it as a bit of an anchor point like we discussed earlier to force TEMPOSTORM to do things they don't really want to do in terms of their positioning on the map.
I mean, they just want to fight at all times possible, right? Slater has, as soon as that gauntlet's up, he wants to make a play. I thought that was a bit over-ambitious of them when he went for the play on Lost Boy, but only catching out him was more than enough. With that, like you said, Kraken is up.
Quite frequently, if you can do that much damage to a captain, it is worth it. I know a lot of people are like, don't hit their captain, hit their carries. Don't burn your cooldown on a captain. But the thing is, if you can just eliminate their captain because they're squishy in one chains of CC, well then you're 3 versus 2 and there's no like heal, etc. Here comes a fight though.
Here comes a fight indeed. They were going to get snared up there. That Bright Ball doing a lot of damage. That Gauntlet's going to come down. Uncannon actually perfectly landing. But is it going to matter? That's the question. Selena Gomez is just going to run forward here. Erwin in a 1v2 situation on the back line, but it's not going to matter. He takes that one. Lost Boy Top is going to use that passageway to get away. Ends up killing off Yazuru, but they are just going to chase at least him down for the 1-piece. Are they going to be able to find anything more? Hyde alone does use that pouncy bun straight on top of that Elder Tree, and the triple kill, in fact, is going to come up big. Erwin gets the ace once more for ECHOFOX. Looks like their game to take.
Alright, so Hyde did not reflex block when he jumped through the gauntlet. That is what won the fight for ECHOFOX, absolutely, because Erwin ramped during that stun. He's got a breaking point. It's not, you can't let him get free attacks down. If Hyde had been able to reflex block that gauntlet, different story, right? He actually pressures Irwin there, and that forces Slater to maybe redistribute his attention too. It maybe would not have been a big enough difference for TEMPOSTORM to win the fight, but it certainly would not have resulted in the same dominating ace that ECHOFOX got there. And now Selena, he's got no idea what's going on the map. Vision has fallen apart for TEMPOSTORM. ECHOFOX has complete control.
Vision's been the game for a lot of these teams right now, and that's exactly what's falling apart for TEMPOSTORM, like you said. Selena coming through. Iron Cannon does get used on the brush to not really any effect whatsoever, apart from dissuading Fox. Here comes the Gauntlet, here comes the War Treads, here comes the damage. Selena is going to be able to get out of there. They managed to take out Yuzuru already. Now Selena is just trapped on the other side of this Gauntlet, doesn't want to go through. Finally, Rocket jumps onto Slater. Will they be able to find out any more kills, though? Irwin on 12 stacks of those breaking point. Look at the damage he's pumping out. Hyde in the front line. That 20 death is going to find the kill. Maybe not, because the Vanguard's going to be there. Hyde coming around from the sidelines. There comes the bouncy fun.
What?
There goes the kite back, but no. TEMPOSTORM come back once more with the double kill. Selena finds 2. They're going to set their sights on the Kraken.
Irwin, that whole fight was toying with the idea of going back in. I think he wouldn't have been able to, but you can see just how strong he is right now, able to, at the very least, sort of put the fear of God into TEMPOSTORM, even in a 2 versus 3, even with their Baron being on high health. That's what happens with this Vox build in particular. Towards the later stages of the fight, it becomes extremely scary. Big question mark for me here on the side of ECHOFOX, though. Yuzuru put himself in a way too risky position, did not use his defensive items appropriately, wasn't actually backed up, I think, appropriately by Slata either, and just got blown up, because he does not have enough defensive itemization at this late stage, almost 20 minutes in the game, to deal with Selena's burst damage. There needs to be a concerted effort from ECHOFOX to back up Yuzuru in these fights, but Erwin was too far away.
He's got the crit, he's got the damage, the Sora Blade and the Tension Bow. And the Iron Cannon, apparently, as he does lay it down on that turret. The Gauntlet is going to get thrown down as well. Triple Silence comes through. Yazuru's going to jump on the back line. That's going to be a beautiful Yummy Cannon frenzy, but it isn't going to matter because their damage dealer's down. Hides in the front line. He's actually just going to get soloed out completely by Yuzuru. Slater's there for the help. Double kill is going to be on the board. When is going to easily chase down Lost Boy. Fox, they're going to be able to take out this Kraken. And this is a back and forth game here. Fox and TEMPOSTORM just seem so evenly matched.
It's kind of back and forth, but it's also kind of not. I mean, the back was one big misplay out of ECHOFOX, losing them a whole heck of a lot. Whereas they've consistently, aside from that one really bad fight, been able to really mitigate how much TEMPOSTORM has been able to gain. So ECHOFOX, I still feel like they've got the ability to just close this one out. They just need to not have one more bad fight where they make a huge mistake like they did with Yuzuru earlier.
One more big fight will solidify it. I mean, with that one turret left standing here for ECHOFOX, that's going to be very easy for TEMPOSTORM to kind of take that down if they find a win in an easy win or an easy ace. It could be kind of said for Fox here.